From your very first day in secondary school, to campus dreams that kept you awake at night, to that first job interview that changed everything. From traffic on 3rd Mainland Bridge to quiet midnight thoughts under an open sky, there has always been one frequency riding with you. Rhythm 93.7 FM didn't just play music, we scored your moments. When you celebrated, we turned it up. When you stumbled, we lifted your spirit. When the nation held its breath, we stayed present, informing, connecting, caring. Across Lagos, Port Harcourt, Benin, Abuja, and every heartbeat in between. One rhythm, one sound, one family. And now, beyond borders, streaming across continents, connecting Nigerians in the diaspora and global.
Read the headlines. We read between the headlines. The political temperature is rising right now as Atiku Abubakar is challenging Tinubu administration's over controversial $16 billion power expenditure. While the battle for over petrol subsidy is rapidly becoming one of the biggest political weapons ahead of the 2027, INEC is preparing to unveil the names of candidates for governorship and state assembly elections. The price of petrol is climbing, even as international crude prices falls. And the Nigerian football, the NFF leadership has been rocked by a major resignation crisis. This morning, we asked the question behind the headlines. What is really happening? What benefits politically? Who pays economically? And most importantly, what does all this mean for the ordinary Nigerian? From Lagos to Abuja, from the political class to the streets, this is the front page. I'm your host, Michael City, and let's get to the papers real quick. Some of the biggest headlines making the rounds right now, and I'm not going to be doing this alone. I've got Suleiman in the studio. Suleiman, good morning.
Good morning, Sugar.
Good morning. All right, so let's get to it. One of the biggest headlines right now, we take this one from The Punch. The Punch leads with this right now. Atiku, Tinubu face off, widens over subsidy, $16 billion power project. So the newspapers reports that Atiku is challenging the federal government to investigate and prosecute him if he has evidence connecting him to wrongdoings over the controversial $16 billion power expenditure. So Atiku is also demanding answers over what happened to the revenues generated after the removal of petrol subsidy. The presidency and APC, meanwhile, continue to attack Atiku's proposal to restore targeted petrol subsidy, describing his position as politically motivated. So the summary is, this is no longer simply an economic argument right now. It's becoming a 2027 campaign battle. Suleiman, what do you think?
Yes, because is it not now that the presidency will now be talking about one power project or the other, whether Atiku is involved in it or not? The worst here, the honestness is the subsidy.
Exactly, yeah.
Subsidy, and the way this current administration in over 3 years have been able to manage that fund from subsidy removal, because it has been a serious thing when it comes to really heavy weight on Nigeria's shoulders, to the burden that he has put on Nigerian shoulder. Then there is no serious social intervention to really assist Nigerians once the subsidy was removed. And the former vice president has seen it all, and he felt that okay, for him, that is what is putting before Nigerians, that he is willing to return the subsidy. The other question is, how is he going to fund it? We need more explanation.
Sure.
Because we've seen it both sides of the coins. At a point where we have subsidy regime, and since the Tinubu administration came on board, he removed subsidy. We have seen the two sides of the coin. And anybody that wants to return us back to subsidy, we really need to really convince us beyond reasonable doubt that is not a political gimmick for you to get to office. And at the end of the day, you will run the economy aground. We want to see how the funds from subsidy will be better managed by anybody that will even succeed the current administration, because they have more money now. The issue is, what are they using the money for? More money is coming to the federal, to the state and local government, but we are not seeing development at the level of the grassroots. At the state level, we are not seeing that commensurate development, infrastructural development at that level. And the state governors continue to laugh to bank. We continue to enjoy the largesse of the office and continue to be so desperate to retain that office, to stay put in office, by not showing any serious commitment to Nigerians and the people that they are serving in their respective states. So the presidency need to do more by not just attacking Atiku Abubakar. They need to convince us more. And in terms of area of social intervention, we want to see more. We are in support of the private sector, in support of the SMS, not the issue of this political thing or headline thing that they continue to do. Having program and they dance to the tune, they have the front page headlines and it's been talked about. But when it comes to reality on ground, we are not really seeing those things in terms of real intervention to the private sector, to the manufacturing sector, to other sectors of the economy, so that Nigeria can really have the benefit.
So there are actually two separate arguments here right now. So the first argument is on petrol subsidy. Atiku says the policy has actually placed enormous pressure on Nigerians, especially those in the grassroots, and that a future government should consider restoring targeted subsidy. The presidency argues that reversing the policy would take Nigeria back to the Stone Age, the old era of physical pressure and petrol scarcity. All right. And the second argument is a $16 billion power expenditure. So Atiku position is essentially, if there is evidence of wrongdoings, investigate me and persecute me. That shifts the argument from political accusation to accountability right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
They need to come up. If you are accusing Atiku of having hand in a power sector fund, then definitely you need to come out and really, if you have a serious thing, what is EFCC doing since all these days? What is ICPC doing since all these days? So why is it now? At the twilight of the next general election, less than 6 months to general election, now you are now telling us that Atiku have hand in one particular fund or the other. It's quite uncalled for at this current moment, because politics, we know, it can be played dirty in any part of the world, but the way it's played in Nigeria is even more dirtier than you can at least expect it. And now, because they know that the pressure that Atiku has put on the administration is so enormous on the issue of the subsidy, because the issue of accountability was not there from day one, and transparency when it comes to the money realized and the way they've already spent the money. And now Nigerians are not seeing anything in return, at least something commensurate to what Nigerians is feeling now. Level of poverty has increased, whether they like it or not. So many people have lost their job, and people are even suffering. The salary earners are feeling serious heat when it comes to the salary. Cannot take them anywhere again since they increased the minimum wage to 70,000. And where can the 70,000 take an average Nigerian workers to? Nowhere. So it's something that has really hit the government. Government is trying every means to also hit back. And that's the reason why they are raising. That's my own belief, that they are raising this one now, because this shouldn't have even come as at this current moment. Because if UFCC, ICPC have serious case against Atiku, they should have gone ahead since all these days now. Why is it now less than 6 months? Because they raised the issue of subsidy. Government should come up.
Typical.
The federal government should come up and explain to us what they are realizing from subsidy. What the Minister of Finance said yesterday, it's not something, they are just crashing it on the surface for now. With Nigerian demand and accountability and transparency when it comes to the way Nigerian fund is being managed by those in power. They cannot just continue every month at the FAC meeting, continue to share money, and you realize the fact that the FAC has even increased the allocation to 3 trillion naira that they share in July, something that has never happened. If you're having this enormous amount of money in your hands now, Nigerians should not feel this level of pain that we are seeing at the level when it comes to the economy of the country. By now we should be seeing some relief coming the way of Nigerians, and also people feeling, if you are saying the other way, if you are also saying the inflation is going down, then it means that there's supposed to be more money in
Exactly.
the pocket of Nigerians.
So I kind of love. I was discussing with Musti the other day, and I say I kind of love the way this whole debate is going right now. I mean, this is it's politically important because 2027 campaign has already started. The opposition needs an issue that actually resonates beyond Abuja politics. If you ask, then we talk about fuel prices. Fuel price is a perfect example of that right now. Every Nigerian who buys petrol pays transport fare, pays for food delivery, runs a generator, pays for goods transported by a road. Understand the consequences of fuel prices. So I think it was hitting it right there. So the subsidy debate isn't abstract at all. It's about household survival. But there is another question. If subsidy is restored, where will the money come from, like you've asked already?
Yes.
And if subsidy is not restored, how does government actually cushion the effects of its citizens, right? This is the real questions politicians needs to answer real quick. So guys, head straight to X at 937 Rhythm FM right now. Should Nigerians judge subsidy policy by economic theory or by what actually guessing in and out of your pockets?
Yes, we talked about issue-based politics, issue-based campaign. Is one issue that is in the front burner now, which is the issue of the subsidy.
Exactly.
Is it supposed to go or should come back or should restore it? So this is the debate that should also go beyond even the campaign, because we want more explanation, more transparency from government. And Atiku Abubakar,
Listeners searching for the sound of
the other
home.
presidential
We
candidate
didn't just
will also
grow,
now start talking
we
about
grew with you. Through weddings and wins, through heartbreaks and hustle, through late nights, early mornings, and everything in between. Because it was never just radio. It's lifestyle, it's culture, it's connection. More music, less noise, more feeling, more life. This isn't just a station. This is your rhythm. Rhythm FM, growing with you everywhere. From your very first day in secondary school to campus dreams that kept you awake.
1,158 naira per litre to an average of 1,212 naira per litre, even though Brent crude fell around $88.54 per barrel. Right. So the headline is particularly significant because it creates a question the Nigerians will immediately ask. If crude oil price is cheaper, why is petrol becoming more expensive? We shouldn't have been in the first place because we are an oil producing country. Because this is some questions people kept on asking me on the street, like, what is our business with Strait of Hormuz? What exactly is happening? But then again, the common man will never understand this rule.
We don't understand. And to really put it on the table, we have only one person, only one organization that is producing, company that is producing, that is refining within the country. And the government has also licensed a lot of other stakeholders to import product into the country. And we're having more product being imported. And it returns us back to the issue of landing cost and the dollar differentials here and there. So at the end of the day, by the time they do their own exchange rate and every other thing at the port, by the time the product lands in Nigeria, definitely they will want to be talking about higher prices, and that is what we are saying. What we have expected from government is to encourage more private sectors to build refineries within the country, so that it will really cushion the effect, the issue of removing certain costs that they are adding on the later now. Because there's no way Dangote, if you are allowing people to import product into the country, and Dangote that want to remain in business, we continue to also follow suit. Is that what you want? Okay, no problem. Then we play the game together. So the landing cost and every other thing that they want to add, Dangote as well wants to remain in power in the business. He doesn't want this refinery to run aground. Then he wants to ensure that the local pricing, that it will now to compete, and is now competing with people importing products into the country. The competition should have been people also setting up refinery, so that from there Nigeria will have the benefit of these natural resources that God has endowed us with. But unfortunately, the management of the country refineries are no longer working. government is still dilly-dallying on the how to really run that refinery. Some of us have said, why not sell the equity to private sector? Just maintain little amount, even if it's 49% of the equity. Give this thing out to the private sector to run and to produce refined product. It will create more job opportunity for Nigerians within the country, rather than taking the jobs to another country where they are bringing this finished product into the country. Dangote alone, we've seen that alone cannot for now undo the local consumption, the local needs of Nigeria. So what we need now is more private sector. That government has liberalized the sector. They need to encourage more private sector in terms of coming in. Players to come in to set up refineries, so that there will be this healthy competition, not this issue of people importing petroleum product into the country. Then we have one local refinery in the country, and other modular refineries that are not they have not really uptake their output to the level that everything put together will take care of our local needs. I think we've gotten to that level. Then now it will have been another different case entirely. So the importation, I believe, is also a major part of this particular.
So Vanguard actually reports that depot prices have also risen, while some marketers are increasing the prices. So Nigeria is facing a complicated downstream petroleum market. We know that already. So the price Nigerians pay for pump is affected by crude oil prices, exchange rates, refining costs, transportation, depot prices, importation, distribution, taxes and charges, which are some of the major problem, and of course the market competition. So a fall in crude oil prices does not automatically translate into an immediate fall in pump prices. And some analysts will beg to argue and say, but politically, this is extremely dangerous and extremely dangerous territory for government right now. Why? Because Nigerians do not experience crude oil prices directly, they experience fuel price. So when it talks about crude oil, it's a government terminology that they use in discussing whatever they want to discuss. So the fuel prices affects mostly everything the common man, the grassroots experience. We're talking transport, food, rent, school fees, electricity alternatives, the business operating costs, delivery charges, manufacturing, and ultimately household purchasing power. So while government may argue that the market determines the price, the citizens is asking a simple question: why am I paying more when oil is cheaper, especially when we are an oil producing nation? The question is likely to remain central to the 2027 political conversation. You think so?
Yes, it will. Like we said, we need issue-based campaign whereby the candidate will talk to the issue, they will address those issues, and we want to see who will have a better deal when it comes to analyzing and providing solution that we know that at least they will be able to carry out. But in this situation, we are only producing, we have the oil, all God has given us. But the problem with this particular black oil is also the time in Nigeria is more or less a black market thing, where everything is not open to us. For now, we don't know how much we are even exploring when it comes to what's a daily, but we just have estimated whatever barrel that we produce daily. There are a lot of secrecy surrounding it. It's not that transparent when it comes to our daily output. But at the end of the, we are not the one controlling price. Price is determined by international market. And removal of subsidy has said that, okay, let the market forces determine the price, and that's what we are going to buy. And if you are, like I said, if you are allowing importation to come into the country, other factors will come in, the depot price and every other thing, because they will come and discharge at the depot will charge their price before the tankers and other people, and the taxes that will come on it. So government really need to ensure the liberalization is supposed to work for us by encouraging more investors to come into that sector, to build refinery. Government refinery need to come back into the mainstream, so that it will reduce the pressure and it will scare away people trying to bring in product, and they will end the issue of importation. We don't have any business importing product into this country.
Exactly.
God has blessed us with this product.
Exactly.
Why are we not harnessing it to the fullest and to also to the benefit of Nigerians? And I believe that's partly what the former vice president is also looking at, because in one of his
Exactly.
statements he said, Nigeria, this country is very rich and
Very
is
rich.
endowed. So there's no business for us to be suffering the way we are suffering. But he has been part of the system
for 16 years.
For 16 years. So definitely, whatever he's saying now, we will have even asked him, what did you people do then? But he will continue saying, no, I'm not at the
helms of,
I'm not the driver at that
exactly.
time. I'm also, he's also working with someone that was also.
But quick question: should the government, do you think, according to the way Atiku is tilting towards this, is the bring back subsidy thing? Do you think government should government intervene when petrol prices rise sharply as a form of some form of relief subsidy? If there's something like more like an intervention, or should Nigerians just accept the full market price? Let's just be buying it, we'll be fine.
No, this government has said it doesn't have any interest. At least the first interview of the president said it doesn't have any interest, any control over price. That he is not believing in price control.
Yeah.
What he believes in manufacturing, production. By the time production rises, then it will force down the price. But now we are not seeing more production. So what is government supposed to do? The intervention the government is supposed to come in, even since the war in the Middle East started in late February that we talked about. For now, Nigeria doesn't have any reserve, any strategic reserve anywhere. We don't have within or outside this country. We are just producing and selling. It's not that we are producing above the quota given to us by OPEC. That okay, the excess, then we are putting it in one place. So when something like this happens, then from that reserve, they should have given to people, a person like Dangote Refinery, to fall down the price. And this same government will not encourage people to continue to import products into the country, because I don't understand the economic implication and the whatever about that. By allowing somebody to, a local indigenous person, to continue producing in the country, and you also now encourage people to import into the country. So it's something that is contradictory. They should have allowed those people that want to come around to import. Why not bring the business? Invest and put yourself together and invest in this business, so that they can also establish their own refinery within the country. So at the end of the day, there will be meaningful competition, not the issue of what we are, where we find ourselves currently.
It's 8:55. Let's see if we can take one more headline before we off. We have this one: INEC to unveil governorship and assembly candidates on Saturday, taking the front burner on Punch newspaper. You can find this on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. INEC is scheduled to display the list of candidates nominated by political parties for the 2027 governorship and state house of assembly elections on Saturday, August 29th. The governorship elections are scheduled for 28 states, while state assembly elections will take place across all 36 states. So this is a major political milestone, if you ask. The election is no longer merely about politicians announcing ambitions right now. So we are moving into a phase where Nigerians begin to see who is actually on the ballot or who is not there.
Yes, and also scrutinize the credentials that they are carrying about, and also the kind of result that they have or the certificate that they have, and you know that is part of the Electoral Act. We've seen the one at the presidential level and also at the National Assembly level. By the time their credentials were displayed, we know that some people doesn't have primary school certificate, secondary school certificate, but they have university certificate. So it begs to question.
So the question
minimum requirement is a school cert, which is at the school cert level. That's the minimum requirement for
your secondary school certificate to contest so, for presidency.
For presidency, for all the positions.
All the positions.
That is the list.
That's the list
that you must have.
So when some people don't have it, but they have university certificate.
University. There are means of you not sitting for WAEC. Then at times you can find yourself in the university, and now the university is not even in the country; it's outside the country. You don't know they're able to do it, but we are seeing it, and that is where we are currently. So the one for the governorship and the state assembly will also be displayed, and we now know what each of the candidates are carrying, and we also scrutinize those governorship candidates as well, whether they are capable, whether they are up to the task to also lead the state, and those assembly members as well. It's part of the Electoral Act, and INEC is following it judiciously. So at least it's about two weeks after the presidential. Then thereafter this, the display, then they will flag off the campaign for the governorship at the governorship level and the state assembly level. You know, the campaign for the presidential and national assembly is already in motion currently. So the state assembly, the governorship and the state assembly campaign will also follow suit after the display of their credentials.
Great thing you mentioned the credentials, and this is an argument we've been having over time. I've been asking, do these credentials really matters, especially when the political leader is delivering in his own constituency or capacity? Where do the credentials, especially the school certificates, comes to play?
You know, it's about you having that minimum requirement,
yeah,
to seek for that office, apart from your age. I think for the presidency is 40 years and above that you must attain that. But from governorship, I think it should be 30.
Yeah.
House of Assembly, 25 or thereabout, or 18.
Right.
So once you attain that particular age and you have that minimum requirement of school cert that you can read and write, that is what the electoral has said and even the constitution. So definitely you are allowed to compete and to contest and be clamor for.
All right, thank you very much, Suleiman. We're so out of time right now. The big picture from today's newspaper is clear. The 2027 politics is already here. The battle over petrol subsidy, the $16 billion power controversy, and the coming publications of INEC candidates list are no longer just political stories. They are becoming the test of trust, competence, and accountability right now. But for the average Nigerian, the real question is much simpler. Can government put food on the table, keep the lights on and the transports affordable, and keep citizens hopeful right now? Politicians will make promises, parties will trade accusations, campaigns will intensify. And anyway, but come 2027, Nigerians will ultimately judge the results, not the rhetorics. Yeah. And
It's hot.
And of course, the 2027 Nigerians will ultimately judge the results, not the rhetorics. That has been the front page this morning. Read the headlines, but always read between the headlines as well. Thank you, Suleiman, for stopping by.
It's my pleasure being here.
All right, Lagos is 9 o'clock. Let's check out the hit song for the day as we proceed right now. Still the morning drive. Enjoy.
Good night. To that first job interview that changed everything. From traffic on 3rd Mainland Bridge to quiet midnight thoughts under an open sky. There has always been one frequency riding with you. Rhythm 93.7 FM didn't just play music. We scored your moments. When you celebrated, we turned it up. When you stumbled, we lifted your spirit. When the nation held its breath, we stayed present, informing, connecting, caring. Across Lagos, Port Harcourt, Benin, Abuja, and